Were there side effects? I seem to have gotten the mother load of side effects all at once. Now, keep in mind, too, I'm working full time. I got really weak, and with one of my chemo treatments, and I had to get that particular chemo once a week for 12 weeks. I had such a severe reaction in the first 15 minutes of the first treatment. So it's about chemo-induced peripheral neuropathy. They had told me, hey, you might feel a little neuropathy, some tingling, some numbness in your hands and feet around like the 8th to 10th one, right? So I'm all like, all right, cool. And I did have like my hands in like the cold water and the feet in the cold water because they were saying, hey, we've heard from some patients that helps. I literally felt I'm so glad I can finally like find the words to describe it. It felt like a current running from my head all the way to my feet, and I felt my nerves just die. Like, and I started screaming in the infusion room. I was like the youngest person in the infusion room, and they came over, and there was no way to even adjust the dosage because the onset was so quick and permanent at that point. And so I couldn't even walk after. So it was that moment on, I had to use a cane, or anytime we would go to the cancer center, I'd be in a wheelchair. Like I feel like the oncologist was just like she didn't mention how like severe this could be and how debilitating this could be for some people. And I feel like they're thinking, oh well, we don't want to scare the patient, but I wish I had just known even the potential of what could happen, knowing, okay, you know what, this may not happen to me, but at least I've got this list that I can kind of refer to that other patients, have gotten. But we all were surprised with how intense and quick it was. And there are no tests to this day to discover who is more susceptible to the chemo-induced peripheral neuropathy. So my feet, so I compare it to, when your foot falls asleep, that feeling, that's what it feels like, but it was like 24/7. So my brain couldn't connect to, so I'd often fall. I was a huge fall risk. And this lasted for years, unfortunately. But I did find something that helped. That was not medicine. Um, but that's what it felt like because my brain wasn't receiving the signal. So when I'm thinking my foot's hitting the ground, it's actually not hitting the ground, and then I would fall over. And as someone who was single, you know, going up some steps to get to my car, going down some steps to get to my apartment, it became a real, issue for me, and constantly falling into walls. And if I'd fall down, oftentimes I'm by myself. And I remember hitting my head once. The most severe one was when, and this will tell you how like severe the neuropathy was, right? The lack of feeling. I was at the time, I'd finally gotten enough money saved again, and I was looking for a townhouse, and we were walking, I was walking with the realtor. All of a sudden I went down hard, and he was like, oh my God, are you okay? And I was like, oh, I'm fine. I got right back up, just started walking. It was 6 hours later when the pain set in. That tells me how long it took for my nerves to actually like realize something was wrong. And I had a grade 3 sprain. It was a hair away from being a hairline fracture. And it was that moment where I was like, I've got to find help. Like, I can't, like, it was so hard getting around. And it was my right foot too. So I learned how to drive with my left. And it really gave me a whole other respect, because I've already had respect for those with disabilities and, specific handicaps. I have a permanent handicap sign. So when I get out of the car and I look like this, I've had people yell at me, like, what are you doing? You don't belong there. And I'm like, y'all don't even know. But I can't walk like super duper long distances anymore without that risk. And then with my hands, I couldn't even button anything. I couldn't put my earrings on. Um, it just, I couldn't believe how you just don't feel it. Like and that's the thing. It's like you think you are holding on, or you think you're pressing down, but actually you're not. And that's what's so scary. So believe it or not, 2 years ago, I just, because Instagram hears everything you say. And I saw this ad for a chiropractor, but what caught my eye was the fact that he differentiated between a diabetic neuropathy and chemo-induced peripheral neuropathy. And when I saw that, I was like, I need to talk to him. So I went to him, and then I told him everything I had gone through and how gabapentin didn't work, and And all of these, what is it, glutamine, L-glutamine didn't work. Like all of these things did not work for me. And when I was done like talking, he goes, "Are you a researcher?" And I was like, "Oh my God." Well, I am the doctor of my body. Um, which I thought was really cool. But he goes, "I can help." He goes, "Now look, I'm not saying I can get you back to 100%." He goes, "But we're going to do some tests right now and kind of assess to see just how bad the nerve damage is." And what I learned is a lot of it is the nerve damage and the lack of circulation. So he did like this thermal imaging. You could literally see where the blood flow kind of stopped, which is why we get so cold, like cold flashes in my feet. And so the big test, and this is something anyone can do at home if you have chemo-induced peripheral neuropathy to kind of test it. He said he did a blow dryer on my neck so I would know how hot it's supposed to feel. He did it on my hands. I could feel it on my hands. Then he said, "Okay, close your eyes. I'm going to do it on your feet." And I'm like, "Okay, are you doing it?" I was like, "I feel like I've been sitting here for a minute." He goes, "Open your eyes." And he literally had the blow dryer right on top of my feet. I felt nothing. And I remember just freaking out and getting so upset. And he goes, "No, no." He's like, "I can help." So what I started using was called a rebuilder. So it's stimulations. And I mean, it has taken so much time and commitment to do, but that last fall I had was so scary to me. I was like, I will do what I need to do. Insurance barely paid for it. It cost me over four figures. And there was like a four at the front of that. Yeah, it was almost $4,700. And keep in mind, I am single. I'd been through some different jobs. I'm still trying to even heal from all of this, but I got to tell you that consistency, I can wear pumps now and I don't wobble. I can actually feel my toe. Now it's not full on feeling. I have about 60% feeling now in my feet, in my legs. So I can feel the gas pedal. I can feel the brake. I can actually feel it now. And that's because it has been 2 years of me going to his office 2 to 3 times a week and then me doing all of the things at home. And then we also did shockwave therapy, which goes deep into the tissue. Um, all of and I wanted him to focus mainly on my feet first. I was like, the hands can wait. I was like, it's the feet. And the fact that I can actually wear like low heels and not fall, and I can actually feel when my foot hits the ground, it's a miracle. And that's what's so scary, I think, about cancer treatments and the surgeries is you don't know how your body is going to react to any of it because no one can tell you, yeah, you'll probably get this. No, for other people, they didn't get any neuropathy symptoms. Then why did it happen to me? We don't know. So that's what I would say, is always remember, even the most vocal person or even the most educated person, especially when some oncologists actually ultimately become a patient, then they start to see like, oh my God, it's okay to write your questions out. I would come every day with like a list of questions that I thought of from like the previous time or later that day is to capture it all, but always bring someone with you. Like that's one of my biggest pieces of advice as we're talking about these things, because you may be focused on one thing that doctor said, but they're hearing all the other. Ask if you can record the conversation so you can play it back later, because at the end of the day, you need to be armed with the information about your specific, case so you can make informed decisions, because at the end of the day, it's about making informed decisions together. It is a partnership with your medical providers. And then a lot of us ultimately post-cancer do have a lot of issues because that's when we start to learn about the long-term side effects from all the toxic treatments and multiple surgeries. And now you have new health issues. And again, it's exhausting. So make sure to give yourself breaks. Like, I get it, but also too, your quality of life matters. And I often say, like, cancer cannot take away the essence of you. God, I'm like really crying here. It can't take away the essence of you.